Good morning and welcome back to Morning Markets, where the team at True Potential discuss the key aspects of the news flow and how it's impacting asset markets. Today, we'll take a look at what's coming up over the course of this week. Just looking back at last week, it was a more volatile week for asset prices and primarily equity prices, driven by news flow around various different topics: COVID-19, the infection rates, and the restrictions that are being put in place, what's happening in terms of the Brexit discussions, and also the back and forth in the US between will we or won't we get a fiscal support package this side of the presidential election on the 3rd of November. Over the course of the week, then, that saw major equity indices falling. It saw the S&P down some 50 basis points, the Nasdaq down about 1.2% over the course of the week. In Europe fared slightly worse last week, with the Euro Stoxx 600 down about 1.5% on the week, and the FTSE about 1.2% on the week. Within bond markets, we did see sovereign yields in both the US and the UK increase over the course of the week, and then on Friday they came in a little bit. So most of the volatility was more evident in equity last week, and also in currency markets, I should say. Turning to the week ahead, I think we've got an interesting week of data to come out, and a lot of that data will be coming from companies, and a number of the technology companies in particular that have led the market recovery, both in the US and in the global context over the past number of months, will be reporting how they have fared in the third quarter, and will also give us some indication as their expectations for the fourth quarter. That'll be a useful indicator for market participants to look like, and to see how market participants react to what we hear from these companies. We did see last week mixed responses to results that some companies were coming out with, in particular if we look at Netflix or we look at Intel, what happened to both of those share prices over the course of the week, where they came in weaker following their results releases. So that's something for us to report back on as we go through this week. We'll also start to get third quarter GDP reports across the globe, and clearly they will show ongoing improvement from the lows that we have seen earlier in the year. Very important to really keep in mind that these are backward-looking indicators and are not going to reflect the recent impact of the restrictions that have been put in place. And indeed, over the weekend, we saw further restrictions in both Italy and in Spain. That's important because we have seen that impact PMI, so Purchasing Managers' Indices, that look forward, particularly as it relates to the service industry. So there will be an impact of the restrictions in fourth quarter GDP numbers. In the US, we'll also get some indication of further housing data and how that's improving. We'll also get the Fed's preferred inflation measure, the PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure Inflation, and that will just see where we are in relation to the 2% average that the Fed has discussed at their most recent number of meetings when they move to average inflation targeting. There are a number of major central banks meeting this week, in particular the ECB and the Bank of Japan. I think in both cases no policy changes are expected. I think in the case of the ECB, they will have to acknowledge the deterioration in activity and the potential for further deterioration in activity, and it'll be interesting just to monitor if and how that impacts their assessment of the economy and any further action that they will need to take to help support the European economy. In Asia, a lot of attention this week will focus in on in China, and specifically the fifth plenum, where the Chinese Communist Party set out their agenda for the next 5 years, both in terms of policy and activity that they will be supporting or attempting to support through that period. Given a lot of the discussion over the past number of months, I think it would be fair to assume that will focus on how China continues to become more technology self-sufficient. I think there will be a lot of emphasis on that. And then also how it continues to strengthen the domestic economy and support that in the recovery from COVID-19. So that is ongoing through the course of the week, and we will hear various different pieces over the course of the week, and we'll bring that to the table. In the UK, we don't have a lot from an economic perspective this week. I think the main focus there will have to be and will continue to be around what we hear with regard to Brexit discussions. That's it for today. Please subscribe on the YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Many thanks.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the True Potential YouTube channel. If you have any questions or requests for future videos, let us know in the comments.